In the spirit of absolute fairness, I would like to dedicate each one of the following books. Each dedication will especially pertain to its corresponding book. But before I begin those dedications, I would like to say one thing. I have seen horrors, tragedies, what some would even call miracles. I've traveled across this amazing country, and I have met some of the best and the worst of humanity, and all those in between. I have stared monsters in the eye. I have slept with criminals. And I've even battled a few demons. I've encountered many, many things. Heard many lies. Told many of them myself, when the opportunity presented me with something which I thought would make me temporarily happy. Many of the people I have come to love have been some of those monsters. Those things that you may see and never give a second thought to. It's understandable, really, it is, because I have done it. I did it. To be truthful, I didn't even change for the better until I knew what it was like to be like that, to hit the bottom, to feel so alone in this world that you no longer want to be in it. Only you don't have the pertained strength, cowardice, some would say, to simply finish the job. I know what it's like down there, friend. My friends and my loved ones know what it's like down there. As an openly gay man, my entire life sometimes feels like my own personal hell. If you were to compound that with the usual family drama, traumas in the world, worldwide pandemics, loss of loved ones, the ever-encroaching feeling that you're going to die alone. Well, you get the point. Don't think of this as me telling you my problems or the things that I've encountered as a way to ask for sympathy. I assure you, that would be wasted. Rather, I would hope that this could help somebody, anybody, from ever feeling unwanted, unloved, or alone. Trust me, you're never alone. You simply have to know what voices to look for when you're listening to your own head. I should know. And if nobody else, does or will. I believe you. Because I am living proof. And this book is for all of you who have ever felt that feeling. I want you to remember it. Because it only takes one of you to change this world for the better. So from the bottom of my blackened heart, thank you. Forward from the author. Hello, friend. Today, you will delve into something like you've never heard before. Unless, of course, you are like me. Who am I? What am I? Does that really matter? No. It truly doesn't. I could be a 5-armed polka-dotted fur fish with 50 razor-sharp teeth shaped like squares, and this story would still end the same. I think. Anyways, I do hope that you will see through the not-so-thin veil of madness to get to the core of this very story. In it is hidden a meaning so true and changing to those of us to which it speaks, that you will never be the same, for better or for worse, after hearing this. This is book 1 of 2, Down the Rabbit Hole. And there's not much better that can be said for the contents of this story. At least, this part. So without further ado, expect the unexpected. Unexpect the expected. Because this is not like any trip to Wonderland that you have ever taken. Time ticks by, and you've a party to attend. Off you pop, or you'll be late. And off you go. Down, down, down the rabbit hole. Fear itself would like to proudly present to you our 10-year Halloween special, Madness in Wonderland. Book 1, Down the Rabbit Hole. Chapter 1, Descend Again. What? Where am I? She thought to herself. Who am I? Why can't I see anything in here? What is going on? Alice! Came the loud voice of the man. Alice, have you even been listening to me? Said Alice's father. I'm sorry, Papa. I must have dozed off. Oh, Alice. I swear you'd forget to pay attention even if your life depended on it. You've got to get a grip on that wild little mind of yours. Her father said with a small chuckle. Alice smiled at his remark. And then she remembered something about the daydream. Why it came to mind, well, that she never could place her finger on. She had been dozing off, as her mother called it, rather often lately. It never occurred to the small girl that any of the daydreams ever meant anything. They were usually only a few moments long and never really memorable. One thing she could remember was the sound of a clock, darkness, and a feeling of falling. Yes, that was it. She had to be falling. Or was she floating upwards? Oh, this is just a mess of nonsense. They're just daydreams. Silly Alice, you're off your head. Crazy. Mad. The word seemed strange to her, almost like she knew something about it. Like there was a secondary meaning to the word. There you go again, Alice, she thought. You've got to get a grip on that wild little mind of yours, rang her father's words. He was right. She had to start focusing more. Dozing off in class again, Alice, rang out Mrs. Cromwell's voice. Oh dear! I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Cromwell. I'm sure you are. My dear, you really must learn to stop dozing off while you're awake, especially in class. Dreams are not for the classrooms, they are for sleep, which is for home. You're starting a bad rabbit. Rabbit? Thought Alice. Could you repeat that, miss? I must have misheard you. I said you're starting a bad habit. There you go again, never paying a lick of attention. I am this close to alerting your father of this. Oh, please, miss, just one more chance. Very well, Alice. But no more daydreaming. It was then that she heard her mother call her for dinner. How had she lost track of so much time? When did she get here? Curiouser and curiouser, indeed. On the way inside, Alice decided to stop by the garden to see how the flowers were faring. It was only barely spring, so they required some extra care to snap them out of their winter phase. But they were strong. They would pull through. They always did. The roses were her favorite, particularly white roses. They were just so pure, so clean, so wonderful. Wonder. Another strange word. But how could it be strange? It's nothing special. It's relatively a normal phrase. Why then did it seem so strange? Maybe not strange. Maybe familiar. Familiar. But how? I mean, of course she had heard the word spoken before. There's nothing new in that regard. As she approached the entrance to the garden, she gazed at the wondrous flowers of the land. Land, she thought. I wonder how the land is like. Does it have feeling? If I poke it, does it hurt the land? Am I a part of the land? As her thoughts ran about, she noticed her cat, Dinah, ran into her vision. She so loved her cat. She cherished it so. Cherished. Cherished. Cherish. Cherry. Chest. Chest. Cheshire. Cat. Cheshire Cat. Alice knew the feeling well now. The feeling of her mind slowly slipping into that world of fantasy. Her land of wonder. Alice! Came her mother's annoyed voice. It startled Alice out of her daze. Alice, I called you for dinner over an hour ago. Child, you've got to start listening. I'm sorry, Mother. I was thinking about the flowers, and then there was the Cheshire Cat, and... Cheshire Cat? Interjected her mother. And then suddenly a worried expression painted her mother's face. Alice, I thought we had talked about this. About what, Mother? About your foolish little imaginary creatures. There is no such thing as a Cheshire Cat! You had better stop this foolish daydreaming business. Alice was shocked. What could have spurred her mother to become so violently angry so quick? Was it the cat? Why would she be mad at Dinah? Mad? No, not anger. That was definitely... fear? Afraid, then. But why? Alice was confused. Why would her mother become afraid of something as simple as a harmless cat? Had it really been an hour? No. Since school now, it was 2 or possibly 3. Was she even in time? What makes time? Clocks? Clocks that tick and tock and tick and tock. Just like a clock. What? Said a confused Alice. Hello? Mother? Father? Dinah? Dinah? Is that you, girl? Dear, I can't see a thing. Hello? Hello? Who's there?
It's been too long.
Who are you? Show yourself!
In time, sweet Alice. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Time goes by. I'm afraid. I'll have to be going. Now. I'll be late for the party. Otherwise. Farewell, sweet Alice.
Alice Elaine Liddell! Answer me! Screamed Mrs. Cromwell. Alice nearly jumped out of her seat at the loud booming of her angered teacher's voice. That's enough, Alice. I'm afraid you have left me with no choice. I must notify your father. Before Alice knew what was happening, she was sitting in the principal's office, listening to her father as he lectured her. Alice, this has gone on long enough. This daydreaming nonsense is going to stop today. I'm calling Dr. Richards and we are ending this little game. Dr. Richards. His name brought little to the mind that could be considered as enjoyable, or nice, or caring, or... Wait. Late. Late. She was late. But what for? Being late, it made her hair stand on end. No, not that kind of hair. Hair as in her head. Hairs in March. Hair mad. It made the March hare mad when Alice was late. Late for an important date, but a date with who and when? And what was going on? Not this again.
Alice. You are late, Alice. Late for an important date. You are late for a date.
From the darkness, Alice could vaguely make out a wide-toothed, glowing smile. Where did she know that smile? Those teeth? They looked a lot like a vampire. No, a wolf. No. Cat! She screamed. You are not paying attention, Alice! Screamed her father, next to Dr. Richards. When had she gotten here? And how? Had she been here the whole time? Was she asleep? Was she dreaming at all? Her date? With the doctor? No. He was mad at her. Mad at her. Ladder, matter, clatter, shatter. Hatter! Piped Alice. Excuse me, said Dr. Richards. The Hatter! The party, the hare! It's March, and I'm late for a date with the Hatter and the hare and the cat! The Cheshire one! The room grew quiet. The doctor seemed to have the same expression of fear that Alice's mother had worn. But why was he afraid? Of the hare? Of the Hatter? Of Wonderland? Muttered Alice. Oh, God. No. whispered the doctor. I'm terribly late for the tea party, Doctor. The Hatter gets right steamed when I arrive late to the party. Alice, I thought we had forgotten about Wonderland. The doctor's tone had become shaky. Oh, but Doctor, don't you know? Know what, Alice? About the rabbit. What rabbit, Alice? The white one. He wants us to follow him down the rabbit hole into Wonderland, said an excited Alice in a shushed tone. Alice, we are going to try something new. I want you to close your eyes. So she did. Now take a deep breath. So she did. Now, Alice, I want you to repeat after me. There is no such thing as Wonderland. There is no such thing as... Go on. Alice. No reply. Alice! He repeated louder. Alice Liddell! He yelled. Yes, Doctor, replied a much more contained Alice. Her voice was quiet, distant, almost as if she was in a trance. Trance, thought the doctor. Hypnotization. From a clock. A clock that goes tick and tock and tick and tock. Like a clock. Dr. Richards, asked Alice. Huh? Dr. Richards snapped out of his daydream, only to be met with Alice's smiling face. Are you quite all right, Dr. Richards? Yes. I'm terribly sorry, Alice. I must have dozed off. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Repeat after me. There is no such thing as the Mad Hatter. There is no such thing as the Mad Hatter, repeated Alice. There is no such thing as the March Hare. There is no such thing as the March Hare. The White Rabbit. Doctor? Doctor?
Doctor.
Came the echoing whisper from out of the darkness. What? Who's there? Where am I?
We have been waiting for you, Dr. Richards.
Who is that? Show yourself!
Doctor.
Richards! Screamed Alice's father. What? Stammered the jumpy doctor. Did you hear me? I'm afraid not. I'm so sorry. Would you mind repeating? Said the embarrassed doctor. Did you make any progress? What have you found out? The doctor began to tremble. He had no idea that he was until Alice's father then pointed it out to him. I don't know anything for sure. I'll need a few more days with Alice before I can give you any guaranteed information. I just pray that I'm wrong. What do you mean? The doctor leaned in close in order to whisper. She's starting to remember Wonderland. Alice's father also began to shake, and fear soon filled his body, and a ghost-white complexion fell over him. You're positive, replied the concerned father. I am not. I would not proceed to freak. Not yet, anyway. We can only hope that she doesn't remember him. God help us if she does. Can you help her? I will do all that I can, but if I were you, I would consider a backup plan. You mean? Yes. The very one. But I'm her father. I don't even know if I could do it. If push comes to shove, you must decide who you will protect. And if you don't, and you can't make that decision, I would advise that you run. Though there's nowhere it won't find you. How long? Until? How long until you can be sure? A week? Give me a week. For your sake, I hope that is enough. David thought long and hard when he left the hospital. This isn't good. I thought we had taken care of this last time. She can't remember. There's no explanation for how she can remember. Not after what we did.